Welcome everyone to the HR Huddle. It looks like we have a small group today, but we do have a lot of content that we're going to cover. As well as we're recording it so we can share it to everyone that is a part of the HR group. So I think at first we'll do just a quick introduction, say your name again and how long you've been with the company so that Paul can have an idea of who you are and if anybody missed the first one. And I'll just start with myself. I'm Chris Davis. I'm with the Printing Industry Midwest. I've been around a long time. We just had a happy hour last night, and it was for with the Bill of Rights Institute, and they have been working with some of our printers in the Midwest. If Amber Owens is on the call, she Right Printing did some of these, and so did John Roberts, but I don't think Debbie's here today. But the pocketbook, they're asking our members to print a handbook with the Bill of Rights in them, a pocketbook constitution that they're providing to high school students all over the United States of America. And so he was looking for donations from our members to do those books, and it's been working out really well. So I saw a lot of people yesterday, or a few people yesterday, that I hadn't seen for a long time. I've been with PIM for since 2007, and I want to welcome everybody, and we'll do the other people in the room, and then we'll talk to the people that are on the screen. So go ahead, Carrie.
All right, I'm Carrie, and I am with Carlson Print Group, and I've been there since April. And other than that, I've been in HR for about 12 years now.
Welcome, Carrie. Okay, and one of our speakers today, Paul.
Sure, I'll do an introduction now, and I'll do an introduction again when I'm on in a few minutes. No, I won't. I'll just do one introduction. I handle environmental health safety issues, and I work with another person, Kathy Melanowski. So there's two people that handle all types of environmental and safety regulations. I was joking about that earlier, because when I use the word all, they say, do you do ergonomics? Yes. Do you do mold in the workplace? Yes. So it's all. And I've been now at PIM for 24 years. Kathy's been at PIM for less than that, but for quite a few, more than 15 maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's more
and Kathy and I have been in the industry. She thinks this line is funny when we say that we've been in the safety and environmental area for 70 years. She thinks that's a funny line, but it's true. When we add up all of our experience, we've been with other companies in the Twin Cities, Seagate, Control Data, Rosemont, OSHA. So I do also have a background with OSHA, and we'll talk more about the safety and environmental stuff, but just to let you know what I do and how I fit in the picture here at PIM, what Kathy and I do, and what we can do for you guys.
I'm Ben Daly. I'm Director of Finance at PIM. I've been here since 2015. I do finance, accounting, HR, IT, and a bunch of other stuff too. That's me.
Okay, so we have a few people on the screen. Go ahead. I can't see them, so.
Holly.
Holly.
Want to start?
Hi, yeah, I'm Holly Blades. I work for Wallace Carlson Printing. And I've been with Wallace Carlson for probably about 8 years now, 9. And I've been in the human resources or attached to it some way, probably for the past 20 years.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Okay. Go ahead.
The one that says conference room.
Oh, that's me. I'm Amber Owens. I'm with Rivard Printing, and I've been here just over a year now. But I've been in the HR and in some capacity or another in the field for over 10 years, I think. So
Welcome.
Should I go? I'm Sherry Dixon. I work for Ideal Printers. I've been here, I do accounting and HR, and I've been here a little over 2 years. And I've had other jobs where I've done pieces of HR, not the full shebang, but anyway, that's my story.
Welcome.
Pete?
Hi. I'm gonna be a little bit hoarse today because I'm coming down with something. But the good news is that I have tested negative for COVID 2 days in a row. So it's some kind of good old fashioned cold or something. I'm mostly semi-retired. Yeah, that's good. Semi-retired from Dunwoody College of Technology, where I taught print and graphics and structural design and a lot of other things. I just beat out Paul. I had 25 years at Dunwoody, so I got you, Paul, by a year.
Whoa.
And before that, 19 years in the industry, mostly in pre-press roles, but I did work for International Paper for 5 years as their Upper Midwest technical sport training specialist. So I guess I get a few minutes, or as long as my voice will hold out later on, and I want to talk about internships.
Thank you, Pete. And I believe Holly, maybe from Jack Olson jumped on the call. Maybe.
She unmuted, but I can't hear anything.
Oh, okay, now,
No, we can't hear you.
Hopefully, Holly, you can hear us. Maybe you can use the chat and tell us that you can hear us, hopefully. Because we can't hear you. That's what we will say.
Yeah, she can hear us.
she can hear us.
Perfect. Okay.
Well, that's good.
Welcome, Holly.
Okay.
Can you hear
Okay,
me?
so
Oh,
yep, we
yes.
can. Go ahead, Holly.
Oh, okay, sorry I'm late.
No
Trying to
worries.
get, I had to work from home today because I'm not feeling the greatest, so. I don't have my camera or anything at home set up yet, so. I'm Holly Lamb. Just started with Josh Olson as the Total Rewards Manager a month ago on there.
Nice.
I have been in HR pretty much my whole life, probably the last 25 years. I've done every cycle of HR, and my last job, I was in commercial construction and ran the human resource and operations department there.
Welcome, Holly. I'm glad you've started in the industry. And lastly, I believe we have Angie.
Never know traffic on 494.
Okay, yeah, it's been a mess out there, but thank
Yeah.
you, Angie, with Quantum, right?
HR manager, Quantum Graphics.
Nice.
Everybody.
Grab some food and come on and sit down. Thank you for coming. Okay, Paul. I think
Okay.
we're gonna have you just start it up
Sure.
and let us know everything safety and environmental.
All right, okay. So I did bring some brochures for people that are here in person, but if you could take a look at these, and this information is on the website. So for those people who are coming in remotely for this meeting here, you can get all this information from our website. Just go to our main page and there's a drop-down box, environment and safety. Hey, this guy is really sharp on the job here, Ben. He needs a raise. Anyway, but for hard copies, we have this hard copy brochure on training. Kathy and I, as I mentioned earlier in the introduction, Kathy's not here, but only needs one of us to talk about the environmental health safety world. So this one talks about training, and we do all types of safety and environmental training. The one exception is going to be, and that's why you see the photo here of Chris. Let's talk about Chris. She just left the room. No, she does the CPR training. So if you have a need for the CPR, AED, that kind of training, first aid training, Chris is going to handle that part, but otherwise Kathy and I handle the other parts. So we got this training brochure, and you want that one there. And then there's another program that if you do look on the website, a few of you may be familiar with this Brake Printer program. It addresses the issue of when customers say, hey, are you a sustainable printer? Do you care about carbon emissions and about complying and exceeding the environmental and safety regulations, stuff like that. This program's been out there longer than I've been at PIM. So, and a lot of people don't know about it, but customers, when they want to see proof, I just stopped over at Daily Printing. They wanted a certificate proof that they're in that program because they had a customer that said, prove it that you're saying what you're saying in this program to try to get our business. So I dropped that off with Tom O Tuesday morning. Anyway, that's this program here. And it describes what the program is and what it's all about. So if you can hack it and you can make it through this program, I think it's well worth it. You should feel free to talk to other customers, or I mean, other competitors actually that may be on that list to see why they're in the program and what they like about it. There's one other show and tell thing that I'm going to have here after I go through some introductory comments though. So that's what we do. That's what Kathy and I do. As I mentioned, I've been at PIM for 24 years, Kathy a little shy of that. And we've been in the safety environmental area for me, for example, since 1979. So I used to work at OSHA and I left in 1984. Maybe people weren't even born then yet. And I left the dark side. And then I went over to private industry and I worked for companies called Seagate, Control Data, Rosemont. Maybe you've heard those other. And then I started here in 2000 at PIM. So, and I want to just kind of go through maybe some experiences that Kathy and I have had when we go and do audits and run across different things so that you're kind of aware of some of these lessons learned as we go through our process. One of the things we've run across over time is that, I don't know, we can't do a show of hands very well, but have you gone through an OSHA inspection at all? You know, I mean, if you have or you haven't, just be aware that OSHA will still be able to come out and inspect your facility. They're going to come one of two ways typically. One is a general inspection, and that's where a lot of companies had inspections from OSHA over the past few years. The other is employee complaint. And if there's an employee complaint and they just tie it into any kind of state made up or true kind of safety concern that they've got, OSHA could come in for that reason too. So be aware that even if they haven't been here at your facility for many, many years, they still can knock on the door. They're not going to call for an appointment. They're just going to say, I'm here and I'm from OSHA. Ask them to show their official credentials so they're not just trying to steal stuff or whatever. That doesn't happen too often, but they have an official credential that they can show as to why they're there and what they're there for, and hold them to it. If it's an employee complaint, just hold them to that one little area of the employee complaint. So don't be thinking that they're never going to come into your facility. Now, you might be in a category of that OSHA was there and there wasn't very many problems at all. So our advice to you, again, from our experience, is that OSHA is made up of quite a few inspectors, 70 some inspectors, and they are broken into different groups of experiences that they've had. So what they're going to do is they're going to focus on machine guarding. And this has happened to one of our bigger printers in the Twin Cities here, where they had thousands and thousands of dollars of penalties on machine guarding. And then what happened is that they had an OSHA inspection after that. Well, that inspector didn't ask anything about machine guarding at all. So if you think that you're okay scot-free because you only spent $600 5 years ago on an OSHA inspection, the next inspector is not going to look at the same stuff. Chances are they're going to look at different stuff. So if you want to be prepared for that, again, seek out our help and support in that area. On the environmental side, you may not be that involved on the environmental stuff, but be aware that there will be environmental inspectors that'll come in from the county or the state or the federal government and inspect your facility. And if you're in Hennepin County, I'd be more on the lookout, or at least tell the person who's got the environmental responsibility that it's not just a civil penalty, a bill in the mail kind of thing. They could actually go for criminal penalties depending on what they find. So now you might not be that involved in safety and environmental, but at least for one thing, you probably are. And you should be, or if not, that's why we're talking about this today. Ask whatever questions you want, or even afterwards, send me an email or make a phone call, is these OSHA 300 forms. So if you have 11 or more employees, you need this form. So you might not be able to see this very well. I don't know, but it's called the OSHA 300 form. Now, some of the folks out there that might have 11 or more employees and know about this will say, Yeah, I know about this, but we didn't have any OSHA recordable injuries, so we didn't fill that out. Okay, you don't have to fill out this one, but you have to fill out this one. Yeah, but we didn't have any injuries, Paul. You have to fill out this one. All zeros, sign at the bottom, post it. The information is on that form over there. And again, if this is all news to you, reach out and seek this information and advice. Because one of the things that we've learned that sometimes owners are kind of distraught about is that you'll have inspections from the fire department. Even environmental inspections, maybe other inspectors, they'll say, you better do these things or else. OSHA shows up and they send you a bill. So you got to fix the stuff and you still got to spend money to fix those problems. So be aware that OSHA 300 form, and again, if you have 11 or more employees, you got to have it, even if you don't have any OSHA recordable incidents. So you don't fill out the 300 form itself. You need to fill out the 300A form, which is the summary form, and you need to put zeros on it, still sign and post it. Okay, that's a guarantee that OSHA is going to ask for that if you have 11 or more employees, is that they're going to say, where's your OSHA forms? So, and then if we got time for Q&A, definitely do that after I'm done here with my little introductory comments. Now, you might be also in the situation that Kathy and I found out where you're not the safety person. It's somebody else. It's the maintenance guy, it's the operations guy or whatever. And so you might get feedback from that person to say, yeah, everything's okay. Well, the owner is the one that has to pay the penalty and the and take care of the corrective action. Or you might get advice from the fire department. Well, aren't they like OSHA? No, they're not. They're the fire department. Oh, worker comp guy, he knows about OSHA. Nope, they're not. Stay in your lane, bro. They should be handling workers' comp issues, people getting injured, why are they getting injured, and things to try to prevent injuries and get people back to work. And if you need help in those areas, Kathy and I can help in those areas too. But be aware that you might have somebody that you go to later on today or some other day and say, oh, our safety guy says everything was okay. Yeah, are you sure? So unless you've had an audit from Kathy and I, you can't really be that sure. You know, it's interesting also for 24 years, there is a cost for the actual on-site audit. But for 24 years, people want to know, well, if OSHA came in to see these exact same things, Paul, what would our bill be? What's the bill for your audit and what's the bill from OSHA? The bill from OSHA for 24 years, at least in that first instance, has always been more when you add up what their fines would be than a audit done by PIM. So if you want to try to save money in the long run and be ahead of the game, get the answer to the test questions before OSHA shows up there, I'd recommend, it's your call, or at least pass it along to the owner, whoever's in charge of the company over there, and let them know that I think, just be aware, I warned you guys, and you should pass that message along so that you don't, again, fall into the habit that other people have to say, well, he or she is not going to pay for it. Well, they might after you get the bill from OSHA or from your environmental inspector. The other thing that I think we've been finding now is that there are companies that are going through bankruptcy, getting bought out and being merged, is that we're finding that people are throwing files away, not moving files. They don't care. Nobody cares about the stuff. They don't know where this program is, where those OSHA records are, where that air sampling is, or whatever it is, the work comp issues, medical records and stuff like that, that are lost, gone, thrown away. Is be careful, as if you're taking ownership of another company, don't be throwing away certain records for a long, long time. And if you got questions about that, again, seek out the advice of Kathy and me. So that's about it in a nutshell, because there's a lot that can be covered in more detail on safety and environmental issues. But Chris, can we open it up to any Q&A right here if people got a question?
Any questions?
I was just gonna mention too that
Yes.
any of the work that they get done through you is at a discounted rate, because if you're a PIM member,
Correct.
you don't pay as much. So
That's true. That's
you get a
true.
deal.
Absolutely, absolutely. And feel free to, you know, there is a cost for the audit because we'll spend a half a day or a whole day at your facility. But otherwise, questions, advice, looking at programs, there's not charge for that kind of stuff like you might have from another consultant. But again, be aware of people who say that they know the OSHA stuff. And I mean, sometimes we'll know some of the OSHA stuff better than the OSHA person. So even if you get an audit and a citation, seek us out for some help and advice. Because we've helped out other companies on their informal conference or even shown up at OSHA's office and discussed their citations, and definitely have knocked down the citation price, that's for sure. So.
Yeah, and I think you made it clear that you can cover all 5 states. We have a
Oh,
few-
yes, that's
we have
good
a
too.
few- We have a few people that are on the call, or, are receiving this recording, so.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
you cover not just Minnesota, but Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, so if you guys have questions there as well.
Yep,
You can reach out to Paul or Kathy, and just make sure you have their emails in your back pocket, or, that you have it saved contact information. There's Paul and there's Kathy. Because they will answer questions in an email. And I, in this day and age, I feel like that's the most important thing that you can have is access to someone that can give you feedback. Or at least maybe they'll try to find that feedback for you if they don't know it. They'll help you. So, they are a part of your benefits for PIM, and benefits for PIM extend to everyone in the company. So it's not just the CEO, the president, it's everyone. So if you have those questions, please make sure that you use them. I do teach the CPR, first aid. Like Paul said, it's Red Cross certification. I come out to companies and do that training. So just so you know that, as well as like we said, there are other programs that you can take advantage of, that not only just safety, but environmental. They're very knowledgeable in those topics.
Kathy's been out to
Well.
South Dakota. I've been out to Iowa a few times for sure. And there's differences in those OSHA programs. Again, if you're gonna read something through SHRM or whoever it's gonna be, again, you can certainly listen to all sorts of stuff out there, but if you want to go to the source and get it sorted out, even if you hear something and it sounds kind of funny or odd, check it out with me or Kathy. Like I mentioned, not just,
There's some number right there.
yeah, could be. Not just like, as I mentioned, the examples about mold in the workplace and stuff, but I remember one of the stories of when we had a change in the label of our chemicals coming into the door. There's different labels, and that needs to be trained for your production people in your right to know or HAZCOM training. And all of a sudden they used a label and a symbol that indicated that it might be a cancer causing chemical. So again, if you want to have someone try to go through the definition of what is cancer causing, what is not, what is that section 11 on the toxicological information on your safety data sheet is, and how do you interpret that kind of stuff, seek us out again. So, because we've got the certifications to be able to do that kind of stuff, which even some of the big work comp carriers do not. So, again, I would seek out some advice whenever you need to.
As well as if you ever see some regulations or laws that are coming into place, just know that PIM is first to the scene sometimes to make sure that our members are aware of those laws and how they're coming into play. We can't always, we know that there are some things that make it hard to run a business. We can't stop everything, but we want to make sure that our members are the most prepared for when those things come in place. So you're ready for them. And just, if you're ever looking for a competitive advantage when you may not be the one that handles the great green printer program, but that is a way to give yourselves legs up with customers, is to make sure that you are representing your company in a way that has those competitive advantages. One of them is, we know that the environment, we hear about it a lot. We hear it every day. that they're going to expect businesses to be responsible. And we have a program in place that is better than everyone's in the country. It's second to none. And I just think it's so important for you all to know that this is something that can make you shine to your customers as well as the industry, to your, kids, all of the generations. They're expecting us to be better in the environment. And this is a program that could help you. Any questions about Paul? Like we said, he's easy to find. You can email him, call him,
Yep.
or call Kathy,
Right.
email her. Even if you email myself, I will forward that information. to
Sure,
you.
sure. I mean, it may be sometimes if she's out and about and she's gone for a whole day and I'm gone for a whole day or 2 days, there may be a little bit of delay because the OSHA fines have gone up a lot. So you're not gonna get out, they're not gonna get out of your building without finding stuff or, but I mean, chances are you might after having one of our audits.
All right. Any other questions? We're gonna move on to, Ben is going to take us to the employment page. I don't know if everyone is familiar with the PIM employment referral page. It's right on our website. For our PIM members, you are able to post jobs for free. So anytime you have a job opening, we highly recommend you use our employment section and do the post a job. It's very easy. You click on it and then you can fill out the form and you hit the submit button. Ben's just going to show you one and you can type in your company name and then you hit submit. And Kathy, who we've just talked about, she manages the employment page. And so you, once you hit submit, it's not an automatic like some platforms. Kathy does have to approve it and put it on the website. And so that is something that we're hoping that you're using as a feature, and it's free. You don't have to pay for it. If you're a non-member, you would have to. Also, go ahead.
Before you move on, one thing to mention is that starting in January, job posts have to include, pay range, salary range. So, it's not on here right now, but I think that will be, we're gonna try and make that a required field to put in there, in the coming months. So even if we don't make it a required field, you still have to put it in there.
So just keep that in mind. And we're gonna talk about that a little. Just to get some feedback, if everyone knows in a bit. We don't have our legal expert here today, but we can always send Tom questions if you have them. But we'll talk about that in a bit. So what you also can do is review resumes. And if you click on that review resume button, there'll be resumes on that we have available for you to search. And so if you pick bindery, finishing, press helper, and then you hit search, it'll pull up resumes that you can add to a cart, and then you submit that as well. That goes to Kathy as well. And then she will send you the resumes that they have of people that we have available. This is something that we're always looking for extra people. Like I tell Pete, tell all of his graduates, soon to be graduates, to place their resumes there. We're always looking for more resumes. Now I know you want access to this and it's probably something you're never going to promote to people at your company. But if you are ever in a process where you might be laying people off and it's not that they're leaving because of performance, you might want to recommend that they use the resume service to post their resume. Any questions? So that's in a nutshell the employer section. Now, if you can see, when we are talking to job seekers, that they can also do their searches there to find jobs, as well as post their resume. If you have kids yourself that are looking for jobs and they have somehow worked in a graphic field, you can always push your kids to put their resumes here too. I do know that a lot of, I think like I can speak for Ideal Printers because I do think that they use this service quite a bit, and they've found people based on using this website. I'm speaking for you, Sherry, but okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about, so we are just in the process of doing call for entries for the Star Awards and People of the Year Awards. This should be rolling out in the beginning to mid-November. We're already back to doing the Star Awards and getting our printed pieces. Once again, like I told you with Paul, once again, what are you looking to make your business stand out? How can you brag to your customers is by participating in these two programs. Number one, the Star Awards is, what can you do as HR people? We know that you're not always responsible for the production and making of the, stellar pieces that you push out, but encouraging your communications team, your press team, to make sure they're submitting their best projects. Quantum just got a national award just last week with one of their projects. And so this is where it starts, at the local competition level. And so if you or your company hasn't been participating in the Star Awards and submitting your great pieces, it's a very affordable program to participate in, as well as get recognition that you can share with your customers. Because if you get any of the certificate of merit, award of recognition, or best in category, you can tell your customers that you're an award-winning company. Same can be said for employees. We do the People of the Year. I highly recommend, if you never use, or if you don't have your own Employee of the Year program, use ours. And this is a way to recognize your employees. Even if they don't win the top honor, they're nominated by their company. That's something special, and they will be recognized at the Star Awards banquet. So not only do the winners get recognized, but so do the people that are nominated. And we have companies that do, once they, submit the applications, they do their own local awards at their company to get their certificates as well. So it's just a good way, if you guys are not doing employee recognition, use our program, because it's a program that is built for you guys to use.
If I could make a comment in here, because when Kathy and I go out and about, we'll talk to different employees, not just managers or not just HR folks. And I remember a couple of stories regarding that as far as recognition. And you folks in the HR area, I think recognize that. Why do people like working where they're working? There's different factors. It's not just the money part. You know that, right? Okay. So, and that recognition part is very important. I remember one of the guys who got CSR, he was just beaming about that with other people at the company, when he got the thing. And the reverse can happen too. I remember when they had the Production Person of the Year award, and he's sitting at the table at the awards banquet, and he's sitting there thinking, well, I should get this kind of award, shouldn't I? He didn't say anything about it. But when the owner saw the expression on his face, is like, I think the quote was, I'm not going to make that mistake again. And he put his name in for an award. So the reverse can actually happen when people are sitting at the table thinking, well, why didn't my boss, why didn't that coworker, why didn't that person, don't they think enough of me to recognize me? So it can actually have a very positive or potentially negative impact.
So that part of the program is free. So you can submit as many applications from your company. We have, the best marketing person of the year, the best CSR, the best production, the best team, best HR. And they're listed right there. And so anyway, I just want to say that this is free for you guys to participate in. So I highly recommend taking advantage of it. Some companies just choose one person to nominate, and some companies choose people to nominate in every category. So that we are streamlining a bit this year. We've been having, it wasn't really accounting wise terrific in the past because the way people were submitting was either like sending it in the mail or taking the documents, filling them out, and then scanning them and sending them back. We invested in a platform this year that it will all be online for people to be able to do it. So you can just send, to the team, head of the CSRs, hey, do you want to nominate anybody? So it'll be very easy for you to use. Any other questions about the Star Awards or People of the Year? For those of you, not everybody probably knows this, but we do have a banquet that is in June. I think it's June 12th or 13th this year. That's where our Star Awards banquet will be at the JW Marriott. Once again, it's a great place to celebrate your wins and to celebrate your people.
How is the winner chosen?
So it's through a process of, we actually have people review the applications and then they pick
Based off of what the managers write or
Yep,
whatever?
yep.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, I will say we've had some terrific applications and some applications that, could use some help. Yeah.
Sure,
So,
okay.
Any other questions? Okay, well, that leads us to Mr. Pete Rivard. I'm going to have him take over for a bit and talk about potential interns that you guys could hire, and just a little bit about the Dunwoody College of Design, and seeing maybe if you guys can provide him some feedback of what are you expecting from interns. And we are in sort of a discussion where Dunwoody will be possibly having access to our PIM University platform. So their students can at least try to have some knowledge about press operations, because we know that a lot of Dunwoody students are hired by PIM members. Go ahead, Pete.
Pete, you're muted. And is there anything you'd like me to bring up on the screen for while you're speaking here, or just?
Yeah, actually, I'd like you to clear the screen so I can see who I'm talking to.
That sounds good. I can do that.
So, Chris, how many people do we have in the room that aren't from Minnesota?
Just one.
Just one. Okay.
Amber from Right.
Okay. All right.
But
And
you can still think about this and think about meeting with schools such as Pete's to go after interns. So it can still be helpful.
Yeah. So yeah, my name's Pete Rivard. I'm a recently retired graphics instructor at Dunwoody College of Technology, and we have had some kind of graphics program there since 1914, unbroken. And right now, as far as I know, Dunwoody is the only school left in Minnesota with any kind of print curriculum, and along with Stout, maybe the only one of two regionally. So I tell companies all the time that there are 26 schools in this immediate region that you can pick up a graphic design degree. There's only 2 of them anymore where you can pick up a print production degree. And that's a problem. And it's a problem that has been getting worse, not better, with schools closing their print programs like the one in Mankato and St. Cloud and Evelyn and Hennepin Tech. And we're it, just to give you an idea of what does get taught at Dunwoody, we have coursework in imposition, trapping, pre-flighting, color management, file repair, color correction, PDF workflow, packaging and retail display design. The list really goes on. And, you know, for any number of reasons, we don't look like a print facility when you walk through the program. We do have a color rip from CGS Oryx. We've got wide format inkjet. We've got a toner production printer. We've got a CAD table for prototyping packaging designs. And we are the only school that I'm aware of that combines classic design curriculum in the Adobe applications along with CAD. Every student takes a CAD program, and also the print production material. The thing about our printing program is everybody who comes in thinks that they're going to be a graphic designer, and that's their stated goal. It takes the classroom, which is usually somewhere around 20 students on an incoming basis. Usually we have about 40 students at any given time. But it'll take a semester and a half for about half the room to realize that they don't have the chops to compete with the other half of the room in terms of their graphic design. And that's fine, because the entire first year we've been taking them on tours of print facilities and pre-press houses like Shock or SGS, or um, in-store, design places like Bernard Group. And we take them to Imagine, we take them to On Point, and usually Shock or SGS. And we showed them that they can have a happy career without it being a graphic design career. And they're still going to have, the cool environmental ambience of the modern print shop or the pre-press house. And they're going to hang with cool people and put their hands on really incredible visual work, but they're not going to do graphic design. And what I did was I called up yesterday to the lead faculty member in the design and production department, and I asked her where our students are landing in the past 2 years. And I got a list here. You're not going to hear Periscope, you're not going to hear Carmichael Lynch, you're not going to hear Campbell Methune on this list. I mean, our students are working at Cornerstone, Speed Pro, Jostens, Ace Environments, Embossing Plus, Conductive Container, Bernard Group, Target Print Services, SGS, some place called Horowitz Health. I have no idea who they are. A place called Sun Control. I have no idea what they are too, but that could be an implant. And Shock. So you can see that they're not landing in the classic design environment. Most of our graduates are going to work for you guys in one fashion or another. And we used to have an internship semester, but we found out that we were in violation with some college certification bodies, and we had to stop that. So now what we call an internship is essentially a part-time job on the floor with you guys. And it can be while they're still going to school, or it can be during the summer. And what we find is that by far the majority of these students will stay where they intern when they graduate. It's more common than not for them to just stay put right where they are, and just can, get that full-time offer with the benefits from you folks. So right now we're kind of casting about to figure out a couple things. One of the things is they haven't found anybody with my own personal skill set to replace me. And I don't say that boastfully. It's just that it's really difficult these days. tech schools are trying to be colleges and colleges are trying to be tech schools. It's really weird these days, the collegiate environment. And we've gone, starting in the fall of 2025, we will be a 4-year program. It'll be a 2+2. You can get an AAS after 2 years and go right out into the industry and go to work, come back later and finish off your bachelor's, or you can stay for the whole 4-year experience and keep working during summers and whatnot. We also don't have any classroom activity on Fridays. We have what we call open lab, and what that is just a chance for students to come in, run the equipment, work on their projects, and catch up on whatever they're behind. So all of the new curriculum is Monday through Thursday. Friday is open lab, but what a lot of students choose to do if they have a job out in the industry is just go to work all day Friday. And so they, they might put in 3 or 4 hours in the afternoon. Typically classes, well, right now classes are done a little bit after noon, and they can hop right in the car and show up on site with you guys at, by 1 o'clock. And some do, and the majority of them are working somewhere anyway. They could be flipping burgers, or they could be doing, Amazon warehouse work, or, bagging groceries, you name it. Almost every student that comes to Dunwoody is working anyway. And our experience is if they're not bagging groceries or flipping burgers, if they're working for you guys, then they're more diligent in the classroom because they're more focused, and they want to learn more because they see opportunities for advancement, right where they are, and they want to do everything they can. So any questions so far on what I've been going over?
I do have a
I had
question.
one.
Yep,
Go ahead,
go
Howard.
ahead.
So what are they doing? As interns, are they working on presses? Are they working in production? Do you know?
Yes,
Even the
yes,
people
and
that have
yes,
been
and yes. Typically, a press
Hmm.
internship is going to be on some form of digital press. They might start, if it's an offset press, for instance, they might start as a press helper on their internship. We don't have any mechanical presses at Dunwoody anymore. We don't have the space, and we don't want to deal with the chemistry and the consumables and whatnot. But all of them get their hands on our Heidelberg toner-based press and the Canon wide format that we've got. They might be doing what's called production art in an agency, which is just a different name for pre-press for most of what I can tell. Or they might be doing pre-press, or because we're teaching them CAD work, they could be drawing up die lines, or inspecting and modifying die lines. SGS has an in-house group that basically will take our students and put them on spectrophotometers and have them analyze packaging that's done overseas. So any number of them have gone through that route as well. And a lot of them will be just queuing up files and ripping them and sending them out to some kind of output device, like a flatbed inkjet, or a roll fed printer. And some of them are doing pre-flighting and file inspection and file repair. I mean, it's really amazing. We have this one program, but we have dozens and dozens and dozens of potential opportunities for the students to do it, and they end up doing all of it. We even had a student, a graduate, running a letterpress at Studio on Fire until that went under recently. And they are, I hasten to say that they are also paid internships. We don't allow anybody to go out and work for free for anybody. But the pay rate is usually really competitive, 17, 18, 19 bucks an hour. And then they start making the real money when they graduate. Excuse me. Now, I don't know how many of you folks are familiar with PIM University, but I've been going through it and I've taken myself halfway through the pre-press module, and I like most of what I see. The only thing I really don't like is one of the presenters is way too chatty and she needs to come up for air every once in a while. But so I have been talking to Chris and Ben and also talking to the people at Dunwoody about what would be the value to you guys. Would you recognize the value of a Dunwoody grad coming to you with not only, or an intern coming to you with not only our classroom curriculum, but some PIM University curriculum as well? Would that be more interesting to you guys? Or would that set them up better? We're always interested in knowing, you know, what your entry level person looks like and what you're going after. And I'll also say that when they come to Dunwoody, we do some of your vetting for you, because if they're the kind of student that doesn't show up and doesn't do the work, and we get 2 or 3 of those every year, we kick them out of the program. So if you're talking to a Dunwoody student at all, you can be sure that at least we've eliminated the slackers. And you know, what's left is mid-range to superstar. And but we only have, you know, 16, 18, 15 on any given year that are available, and they get snapped up. You know, it's kind of stupid. You know, we should be graduating 50 or 60 in my opinion, but for a lot of different reasons we aren't.
So I will just kind of bulldoze on that, and then I do also have a question, Pete. So I'll ask the question first. So Dunwoody got in trouble for they can't call your students interns. Is that correct?
We can't make them pay for a class called an internship class, Chris.
Got it. Okay. So in turn, they're expecting
we
that
can't
money.
we can't award credits for internships and then
Got it.
bill
Oh,
for them.
okay. Okay, I was just curious about that. Okay, so we are trying to encourage Dunwoody to use PIM University so the students have some tools on their belt that they know about press operation. But I think to the powers that be at Dunwoody, encouragement from business is the most important sort of aspect to this, because I could see when Pete leaving, they'll start to be like any other program in Minnesota, where it might just become a straight graphic design program where students aren't learning about press operations. But it's much better for Pete to go back to the powers that be and say, I just met with an HR group of employers, and they are the ones that are hiring our students right now. And they do see value in students coming that might have background already being in PIM University.
Well, I can just speak for us at Wallace. I mean, we are trying to as we all know, production people, press operators are very difficult to come by. So we are very interested in how do we get in front of that group of people before they get into a 4-year degree that's going to be something else. We know that there's people out there that probably could fill those slots and would love it because they don't understand how different it is. So we're very interested in the production side. I
You
have to
know,
say, we haven't found any problems with the pre-press, but I mean, that's just maybe our luck.
yeah. Well, there's two or three ways that I can think of right away. One of the first ways is to come down to Dunwoody. Because Dunwoody is a private school, it doesn't have any problem welcoming guests into the classroom and kind of turning over the classroom to people like yourself to pitch your um, company and specifically, but also to pitch the industry as a whole and kind of fit it into that kind of presentation. We also invite industry professionals from time to time for different events. Like there's one event called, um, God, what's it called? It's sort of a business event where, and a mini trade show where people will set up a booth and just talk about their company. And some of you guys might find that, there's not just graphic students, but maybe there's architectural students or interior design students that would be a fit for what you're doing, or even robotics or electrical students for some of the things that are going on inside your plant. Um, Bolger was at the last one and set up this really magnificent table, and it was really, it was an eye opener, shocking for a lot of students going, how was this made? How was this made? How did you guys go about doing this? And it's really about that interface with industry to get them their interest piqued in the first place. Um, because you hear the list of where they go to work, they end up going to work for production places more often than not.
Do you know?
And and you think
Pete, Pete, is that event coming up soon? Because it's normally, I think, around that Halloween time, and I would recommend everyone at this group, if they can, to go to that, because you get access to all the students in the design program, architecture, into interior design, and then the graphics program. And talking to them all is very, very good, because you can even grab those people to become interns at your company, because they do have a design background. But I just don't know when that event's coming up. But yes, Bolger was there last year. I was there last year.
I guess normally November, but I can check it. So it's going to be, if it hasn't been held yet, it's coming up real quick, because it's definitely a fall semester activity. I don't happen to be teaching this semester, but I'm going back in, I think, next semester to handle a course. Um, so I'm a little bit out of it. But the other thing that we do in the spring is we publish a book. I don't know if I've got a copy handy, but that book actually, yeah, I've probably got one squirreled away somewhere, but every single student in the program gets a 2-page spread with a bio and examples of their best work, and we send that book out. We send hundreds of that book, copies of that book out in the mail, and then we have people that are arriving for the event. It's called the Design Expo, and it has all of our graphic students plus all the interior design and all the architectural design students all dressed up, and they're on the same day, and they have to stand in one place in front of a poster hanging on the wall of their work and talk to whoever comes by. Usually we have hundreds of guests, and that is typically the very last day of school in the spring semester. So usually it's mid-May. And we do end up placing a lot of students during that event. So what we can do is what comes to mind is make sure that event gets gets published on PIM's website to give you guys a, a heads up of when it's coming. And, maybe make it easy for you guys to order a booklet in advance so that you can start paging through and putting, Post-its or some kind of markings beside any student that you think might be a fit for you. But what we really want to do with the internships is get students working while they're still at Dunwoody, whether it's after school or full-time during the summer. We really want to get them on a production floor somewhere so they can experience what it's like. Uh, because we find out when that happens, they come back and they're better students in their second year than they were in their first. Now they're really motivated.
Well, yeah, Pete, make sure that you get us the dates. I think the one where it's business comes in and sets up tables and talks to them, it's got to be close because I always give Halloween candy out, but I think it's usually after Halloween. It's like that first week in November or something.
Yeah.
I can also send an email to Pam too. And then the intern, or you call it, what's it called now? It's not Intern Expo anymore.
I think it's called School of Design Expo, SOD Expo.
And that allows any HR person, they can come in. I know that a few HR
Any
people
HR,
here.
any production manager, any project manager, any executive from any of the companies, owners.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's usually in the spring. We'll make sure that you know about both of those events. But I highly encourage all HR people to, you can even start with Pete. He can get you introductions to the team there at Dunwoody. And yeah, go speak to the classes. They allow you to do that at Dunwoody. I've been there before. I go and get in front of them and tell them to post their resumes at our website and talk about careers in press operations. But you guys can do that too and meet with their students for sure. Any other questions about Dunwoody? Thank you, Pete. It was very helpful for sure. We were glad
Save me a sandwich or a snack or something. Chris, put it in the refrigerator down there. I'll eat it the next time I come by.
We'll put it, you can come for Well, I'm not gonna drive out to Woodbury today. I was like, we'll hand deliver it to you, but I'm not gonna.
Hastings, actually. Hastings.
Oh, yeah, that's even worse. No.
Yeah.
That's too far.
All
Any
right.
other questions? Thank you, Pete.
I'll put my contact info in the chat, you guys, and you can reach out to me if you so desire. And I encourage all of you guys to take a look at PIM University. If you haven't looked at it yet, even just looking at the titles of each of the classes will give you a really good idea on some of the content that's being covered there. It's pretty comprehensive.
It is. And we talked about it at the last one, but I will reiterate again, if you haven't taken a look at it, Ben can get you signed up. So with credentials, so you can take a look at it and just keep in mind for your company. I like to say there's a lot of videos there or options of the classes that are there. Just realize that it can be customizable. So if you wanted your company, if you found out which tracks or which classes you wanted specifically for your people that you're hiring, onboarding, that we could design a package just for you where everyone would be going into, let's say, quantum graphics, so they could look in and you send your people there and you choose the different classes that they want. So we can customize it for you in a way where you're able to direct your people to pick what you want to learn. So, and we can always schedule a one-on-one Zoom with any one of your companies to just kind of onboard you to the process. If you want to, just let us know. What's next? So we put a few what's next on there, and I know a lot of you are newer, so I don't know if you're gonna remember this, but so in the past, PIM used to do what was called a holiday survey, and we would send it out to all of our HR contacts, and it would be a survey that would allow you to pick or allow you to tell us what different holidays you have at your company. You wouldn't have to put your name on it. But so then we would share it with all HR people so they would know, okay, our company takes up these holidays. This is how we handle these holidays. So it kind of helps your HR lay out the holiday year. But I was getting less and less response. And last year we didn't do it. And I want feedback from you all. Did you miss it? Would you like to see it again? Or is it something that you don't need because you already can figure out just the way your company works, you know what you're doing, etc. I know it's even different this year, especially in Minnesota with how you have to mark everything down. But I'm just curious, is there anyone that remembers the holiday survey? Do they miss it? Does it matter? Feedback.
Ours are set. We can't change them. I've tried.
Very good. Okay. Well,
Even based off your survey, I
I
actually
want to
pulled.
see it.
you would want to see it.
Yeah.
Okay. And anyone else?
We want to, like, do you have example of the old ones that can see kind of?
Well, it's in shared, but I can send you the results of our last holiday survey. The dates will be old, but you can take a look at it and then you can email me and say, yeah, this is something that we would like to see
Yeah.
again or not.
I'd look
Okay.
at it.
I'd be interested in
Oh.
seeing it.
New
You
information.
have
Okay.
having new information.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually got it from Ben.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
sounds like maybe we just do it then. It's, there's interest.
sounds good.
Mm.
We can do it. Okay, update on the wage and benefit survey. I believe it just got released yesterday, but we have not released it to the public.
Well, no, I sent it out to all participants,
Okay,
and yeah, next would be, announcing it to non-participants, I suppose, and offering that up to them.
so,
So
did everybody,
announcement will probably go out.
okay. Did everybody that participates see the email from Ben with the
I saw it.
information? Okay,
I haven't looked at it. I mean, I haven't gone into it yet. I will.
apparently it's way more robust this year. I haven't looked at it, Ben. I don't know if you did.
I glanced at it. I haven't really
Okay.
dove in yet.
And apparently it's going to be in the future where you can have a lot more access to data. So let us know what you think after you check it out.
And there'll be a webinar meeting, a financial execs meeting on that, November 20th.
I'll make sure you guys get the financial exec. Because maybe not all,
I guess I don't know if it's officially a financial exec meeting, but it'll be November 20th. It'll be on, the results and kind of breaking it down and looking at highlights and.
that's not on the website yet though, is it, to register?
It's in
Okay.
the email.
We'll make
though.
sure that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it will be emailed. Yeah. Oh, it is in the
It was,
email.
yeah, I
Okay.
mentioned
It's
it.
in
I
the
just
email.
said- yeah.
Okay. Maybe if you, when you're promoting for it, if you want to send it to the HR group, the link.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. The next thing, talking about minimum wage, Ben, I think you know more about this topic than I do.
Hold on,
I know
ready.
we had a question yesterday from someone about it. And I have an email into Tom.
Yeah, that's the, increase of the salary, right? It says January 1st, and it's pretty significant increase, it looked like. I don't know, and then I saw that there is,
58,000.
what's that?
It's like 58,600 something.
Yeah, I saw that there were some court challenges, but I don't think that's really going anywhere, so I think it's gonna take effect on January 1st.
Is everyone prepared for that? Know that?
Nope, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, let's send out some information on that as well.
We'll send out information on email about that. Maybe I'll get a little feedback from Tom. He couldn't attend the meeting today, Tom Revenue, the attorney that was at the last meeting. And we'll share it with everyone in the HR group as well as maybe putting it in the e-loop. But for you guys, we will get you access to that information.
Is it a minimum wage for salaried?
Yes,
Oh, got it.
and it's federal, so it's everybody. It's not a state issue.
Is that okay? We will
Yeah,
try to give you as
great.
much detailed information as we can, so you guys know. Okay, then lastly, I just wanted to also point out that, it's not even on the events page yet. We will make sure that you get the link. So there is an HR Academy starting on November 7th. It's virtual. So I think we told you, or you might not know this, is that Printing Industry Midwest is an association that covers the 5-state area, but we do have partner associations that do the same thing in other states. We're all independently operated, but we do some things together. And one of those things is coming up, the HR Academy. It's our New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey affiliate or association, and it's one of their law firms out there is doing an HR Academy. There's 6 webinars covering 6 months. It goes all the way till March. And there's topics for each webinar. I will send you the link to the detailed page. You can attend individual webinars, or you can get a discount for attending all 6, or signing up that way. And it's just something that they're doing, and we said that we would promote it to our members, and they are extending the same discounts that they are doing with their members as well. So that will be shared to you all on with the recap of this HR Huddle. It'll also be on our events page very soon. Are there any other questions? If not, I think we're gonna stick with this same time frame, the 11:30 to 1. I sent out the survey. We didn't get a huge response of finding out what's the best timing. And we still got a majority saying that the lunch hour was the best time to have this. So I think we'll stay with that. And I think it will always consistently, we'll monitor it. As of today, you notice that we have 2 lovely people here today. And in the future, we're just gonna monitor to see if doing it always in person, or maybe we do 2 in person and 2 remote, and the ones in person would also have the remote option. So maybe in February, since it's always scary weather anyway, because I think that would be the next month, or is it January? January it would be. January, end of January, that we might just make that one remote because weather is dicey anyway. And then the next one would be in person. So we're looking at the potential date of January 23rd would be our next HR Huddle. if you want to write that down. And just one other quick thing, and I'll remind you again, I did send out a message on the HR listserv. Just remember, that's also a tool that you can use where if you want to ask a question, it will go out to all of the HR people. So if you're looking for feedback or a question, it can go on that as well. And we are all on it too, even the safety people. So that they would see an email if you had a question there. And I'll send you that email again where you can use the listserv too. Any other questions? Well, we thank everyone for participating today. We will be sending this as a recording out later, right, tomorrow or Monday, because we'll send out the recording along with a recap. But thank you, Paul. I think Pete left already, but appreciate everybody for checking in today. We hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.